Phil Spencer, La Cuisine et Ménage, the household chef, and today on the college series we're making Hawaiian beef stew. Now in Hawaii this is simply called beef stew. So this is a local dish that differs from other beef stews by use of tomatoes and tomato paste. So this gives the dish a unique sweetness and red color. So let me show you how to make this island classic. Here are the ingredients we'll be using for today, and of course I'll put this entire list in the information section below. Here's the mise en place, or our prepped ingredients for the beef portion. I've cut the chuck steak into about 1-inch cubes, and then we're going to put it in a bowl and just season it with some salt and pepper. The deal here is you want to work in batches. So here I've put the olive oil into some high heat, and we're just going to sear each side of the cubes of beef. You want to get a nice brown color on each piece of beef, and then we'll set it aside. It's just kind of showing you again how we're going to work in batches. And when you get to the last batch, that's when we're going to put the garlic cloves in, get those starting to cook. And here we have the finished nice brown pieces of cubed beef. We'll set that aside. Now goes in the tomato paste. It's about a tablespoon, and we want to cook that out. We want to get a nice caramelization brown color with it, as you see right there. And once that's done, we'll deglaze the pan with the red wine. And what I'm going to do here is you'll see I'll deglaze the pan, meaning get all the good bits off of the bottom. And then we'll reduce this, meaning keep simmering it till it's a thickened sauce. And once that wine sauce is reduced to about half, it's time to add back in the beef. And then we're going to cover it with some stock. If you have beef stock, great. If you have chicken stock, that'll work fine. The idea is to cover all the pieces of meat. And here I'm going to just stir it around a bit, and it looks like I'm going to need a bit more stock. So I'm going to cover it to the top, and then we're going to bring it to a simmer. Once we get that simmer, we'll put the lid on and cook it for about 2 hours. And I found it's very important to check the temperature of the simmer beef every once in a while. Make sure it's a nice even simmer throughout the entire cooking process. While the beef is simmering, it's a perfect time to get our mise en place ready for the vegetable portion of our stew. The ingredients I gave you breaks down to about a cup of onions, a cup of carrots, and those potatoes I diced them, and you want to keep them in cold water to keep them from oxidizing till we're ready to use them. And I had a whole can of peeled tomatoes, so what I'm doing here is slicing them up just so they break down a little easier. The long simmering of the beef is to get it fork tender where it just breaks apart easily with a fork. Now I say 2 hours, that's about the norm, but you want to start checking it at about an hour and a half and see if it's breaking up. This was 2 hours. Now that the beef's all done, it's time to add those remaining ingredients. In go those potatoes, and then the carrots, and then the onions. And then we're going to blend it and mix it all well together, and then add that last ingredient that makes this unique island stew, which is the tomatoes. We're going to mix that all in well, and once again bring it to that famous word, the simmer. We're going to simmer it for about 30 minutes with the lid on top. Now in the end, if you need to thicken the sauce, this is called a slurry. I've used a little cornstarch here, a tablespoon of cornstarch and some water, and you just mix it up together till it's a nice liquid. So if you feel the need to thicken your sauce in the end, you just drizzle that in, and I'll show you how that's done in a little bit. So I continue to cook until the fork passes easily through the potato, and then you're done. Or unless you want to change that consistency of the sauce, now's the time to add the slurry. So you add just a little bit, mix it around, wait a few minutes, and if it's the consistency you like, you're done. If not, add a little bit more until you get that sauce the thickness you'd like. As I mentioned, I'll have the ingredients list in the information section below, and for an easy step-by-step method, go to my website, thehouseholdchef.com, all one word. Thanks for watching. If you liked, please subscribe.